Still a bit hot. I'm gonna start with this. Hey there, welcome to the channel. My name is Ethan Lowry. I am a wedding photographer based in Auckland, New Zealand. I've been photographing weddings, peoples, places, all sorts for the last 7 or 8 years. Today I just wanted to talk about my first impressions of this beast, the Fujifilm GFX 100II. I recently shot my first wedding with it after giving it a month-ish or maybe a few weeks of testing just in more controlled situations. Anytime I pick up a new piece of gear, I like to shoot a bunch of personal work on it, whether it's going out to the beach with a friend or photographing my kid running around the house, my dog in the backyard, whatever it is. I like to give it a bit of a workout and get a feel for it. The GFX 100II is still slower than full frame, slower than the X-T5 even. So it takes some level of adjustment in how I shoot, my approach, and how I think through certain moments and where I position myself. So there's a little bit more strategy at play just to make sure that I'm in the right place at the right time. And if I feel uncomfortable at all with how quick things are moving, I immediately revert to the Fujifilm X-T5 because I trust that a little bit more. I shoot most of everything in face detect or eye detect, continuous autofocus. In the conditions I shoot and the way I shoot, I'm getting about a 70% hit rate, which is significantly lower than I would get with a Sony system or even the X-T5. I'm perfectly happy shooting on the GFX and having that 70% hit rate because the 70% that I do get are beautiful. The image quality is amazing. I love it. And maybe there's a bit of bias in there because I've spent a bunch of money on a piece of gear, but yeah, if that's that, then that's fine with me. You'll see a few images now, later, before, whenever. They were walking at a normal pace. I was walking at the same time. It nailed every image that I took in a burst. So again, it's slower, but it's fine. I certainly don't need 10 frames a second, 1,000 autofocus points, and a 100% hit rate. I'm fine with the keepers that I'm getting. That said, there is a significant adjustment in the way I am shooting and the way I'm positioning myself and how I'm thinking about setting things up. I think when I was shooting Sony and just banking on the autofocus working all the time, for every single image, I was maybe a little bit less intentional, a little bit more run and gun, and this slows me down a little bit, but I think it's a good slowdown. So one thing that I have noticed shooting the X-T5 side by side with the GFX 100II is that the GFX constantly feels like overkill. And so much so that I am prone to taking fewer photos on it because I am just being more selective about what I'm spending 100 megapixels on. It's a massive sensor, it's a lot of image. It doesn't meet my internal standard of what I'm going to cull out of my gallery later on. So I'm just being more intentional with what I shoot and how I shoot, which is really interesting. It's something that I didn't really expect. Elephant in the room, the GFX 100II files are pretty big. So even with lossless compression, the files that I'm shooting are anywhere from 90 to 120 meg. Storage is fairly cheap these days, so I'm not super concerned. Once you build smart previews with these files, it's totally fine. I don't have any issues with that. Disconnect the hard drive, edit off the smart previews. That's been a breeze. When the files are connected to Lightroom, my computer does not handle it very well. It does take a while to export, takes a while to render, but that's okay. I'll edit off smart previews for now, and I'll upgrade my laptop later. That's totally fine with me. So my thoughts on the files themselves. The files are beautiful. The colors are amazing. This combo of 55mm 1.7 and the GFX is phenomenal. It's a super sharp combination. The colors are lovely, the depth of field and the autofocus, like the fall off is, yeah, amazing. It's a really interesting look. You have this extreme fall off at 40-45 millimeters and getting that at a certain distance from your couple. So I'll show an image here that was taken from maybe 4 feet away from the couple. So it has quite a wide perspective, and I'm able to get quite close and interact and kind of poke fun and make jokes and stuff and kind of give them a bit of direction. And it's a relatively intimate situation, an intimate shoot, but it still gives quite a nice frame and a lot of space around them, and then the fall off, just, yeah, insane. Now, I won't pretend that I know the technical ins and outs of dynamic range and micro contrast and color depth and richness and all that stuff. The GFX files feel more rich. It feels like there's more latitude in editing. I have no data to back that up. Unfortunately, I don't have any side-by-sides to show you between Sony and the GFX files. I can only base that on 7 years of editing Sony images and then moving to this a week later. So here are my final first thoughts. The GFX platform has come a long way in a couple of years. The 50S Mark II that I owned was too slow for what I do and the way I like to shoot. But the 100II has kind of reached the cusp of what's usable for me in a professional setting. It is slow, but it's fast enough. Fast enough for anything I would do. And any compromise in speed makes up for an image quality and a little bit of an X factor. There is something special about these files and the colors and the look of this 55mm 1.7. It's super cool. And I'm super excited to be shooting it for the next little while. For a long while, hopefully.